Hi guys, and welcome to another weekly chat for The Walking Dead. I'm really sorry about the super blinding light behind me. This time of day, whenever I record, it just, for some reason, looks ridiculous. But yeah, I'm going to talk about this week's episode of The Walking Dead. Okay, so I'm just obsessed, absolutely obsessed with this season so far. I'm really, really loving it. I do not feel like we're at episode 6 already. I feel like we should still have like half of the first half of the season, like so 4 episodes left or something. I don't know. Anyway, so weird, right? Anyway, so I'm going to be just kind of discussing a few things. I do believe that this episode was a little bit slower, a little bit build up. I don't want to say filler because I think it was a lot of build up for what's to come in the last 2 episodes. Yeah, so I have my notes and I'm ready to go. So the number one thing that I first off noticed when I rewatched the episode was the beginning kind of spiel that when they wrote their letters to each other, and that, Rick was saying, he said the plan is working, and the rest of the plan is a go, and there was a lot of talk about plans, which I will get into later, why I think that's, the whole episode is gonna kind of, it sort of came full circle, and maybe things are not going to go according to plan now, and see how you guys feel about that. And it, he says meet at the sanctuary in 2 days to end this, so that's going to be kind of interesting to see what is where this is going now, because I have read the comics. I'm not going to really speculate too much on what is going to happen when it comes to that stuff, you know what I mean? Like, I don't really want to get into that too much, because I just don't want to I don't know, I just don't want to give anything away if none of you want to know. So, not that they always do the same thing. I always say that, sometimes they change, but I might have more of an idea of where they're going with certain things. So I'm going to leave that alone. Okay. So I think the first thing that I'm going to touch on is Maggie and the prisoners at the hilltop. So as much as just me personally, I'm not sure I entirely agree with Jesus. I do think that he does have some good points. I liked when he said we have to make sure what's left is worth what we lost. And I don't know if, by the way, did you have a little moment of like, when he said that, like, what we lost? He said that to Maggie. I don't know. I was just, my mind always goes to Glenn. But yeah, but I like that line a lot, because, and I like that that's kind of his mentality with it. He's thinking of after, and I've said this in a weekly chat before, I think it's necessary that we have characters like that on the side of, Rick's group or Rick's army or what, whatever you want to classify it as. I think it's very important that we have characters like that, because if we don't, then it's a slippery slope and we can just start just randomly killing and, clearing people. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, I was just kind of curious what you guys think about Maggie's decision to keep them alive, to keep them as prisoners, but, she's basically just she's said at the end, I'm going to just kind of use them as bargaining chips if we need them, which, by the way, I think is very smart. I think for somebody who has lost so much and is pregnant and so much is going on with Maggie right now, she's making some very rational decisions. I feel like she is thinking about her decisions, and for me, I believe she's becoming a very, very good leader. Now, that's not to say, I agree. I don't know. I kind of agree with how she's handling the prisoner situation. You guys can let me know if you agree or not. But I think that I like that she's really actually thinking about everything and not leading by emotion, which is, I feel like, not what we can say for some other people in our group. I loved Maggie putting in Gregory with the Saviors. That was like probably one of the best moments of the episode for me. Absolutely loved it. Gregory, get in your fucking cell, you asshole. What I think, so they had a couple of scenes with the actual prisoners where we saw a little bit where Dillon, I had to look up his name, but his name is Dillon, kind of talked a bit to Jesus, and I listened. And my reaction, if you saw, I was just like, dude, nobody cares. I listened to what he said the second time around a bit more. And then, Jared as well. I think they might be trying to show the two different sides of, Dillon kind of even admitted to the whole fact of like ignorance is bliss, you know what I mean? I don't really want to, as somebody new became in charge and then somebody else, but I was fed and I didn't really, does that make him a bad person? Does that, interesting. And then then we have somebody like Jared, who I think we all would like Maggie to shoot in the face. Just saying. So yeah, I mean, I don't trust either of them. And I liked when Jesus said to Dillon, don't pretend like any of us are innocent. I really liked that line as well. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about the prisoner situation and how it should be handled. Okay. I'm going to move on to Karl and Ezekiel next. I mean, I just love them. So I really liked the conversation between Karl and Ezekiel. It was probably one of the highlights of the episode for me because of the fact that it was just such raw emotion, and we're starting to really get a look at, how Ezekiel is actually going to handle. And I think we should give him a leeway of a couple of episodes to mourn and maybe not be so okay with it. I love that he didn't lose Karl. Well, I mean, I love that we didn't lose Karl, but from his perspective, I love that he didn't lose Karl because I think she is the exact right person to kind of help him through this because she's lost a lot too. I don't know if she's ever going to really open up about what she's lost more so, but that would be interesting. It would be something very interesting to see if she actually got to that point where she would actually open up about some of the things that has happened to her. I liked when he said, who the hell was I to choose for them? He's just feeling the most tremendous amount of guilt, and I can't imagine feeling that kind of guilt and like trying to, and somebody telling you to just, you got to move on, you got to mourn, you got to help your people, whatever. And it hit me right in the gut when he said, and yet I smiled, I was gambling with their lives and yet I smiled. Oh God, that just got me right there. Just absolutely love that line. So a couple of questions when it comes to, I really like the connection that is happening between Karl and Ezekiel. So the number one, thing that I'm asking you, do you like the connection between the two of them? I don't necessarily mean romantically, but let me know if you think it's romantic. Because I know that some people are hinting towards that. So, but I really liked that he said that, she made him feel real and not like a fiction. That was really, really cool. I loved that whole scene. It just made me very, very emotional to watch. And another question kind of related to this subject, Henry, good old Henry, is Henry a goner? That is my question to you. Is he for sure going to die? Have they played out the whole kids with Carol thing? Not doing too well. Is this one actually going to make it? Let me know what you guys think about that. All right, so I'm going to move on and talk about, Sadiq and Karl, which it's funny because as much as I felt like this might have been a slower episode, I loved so many aspects of it, and Sadiq and Karl was definitely one of them. When Sadiq said, that his mom would, she thought or hoped that, killing walkers would free their souls, I think it hit home, not just because it's a very beautiful sentiment to have, because it is, But, you know, I think that there might be something to that where, you know, and I think maybe in the past it was kind of seen as more of a coping mechanism where you have to really put down the person that you loved that became a walker. You know, we see time and time again, you know, Sophia coming out of the barn and all of that. We see, and them having, and putting her down, I mean, along with massacring all of Herschel's family. Woo! Dead family, but you know what I mean. He didn't entirely believe that at the time. Daryl and Merle putting him down, you know, Maggie and Sasha. There's something, and I think it's more of a therapeutic thing, you know, Spencer and his mom, you know, I think it's a therapeutic thing. I think it's a thing that you just don't want to see your loved one walking around like that. But I love his notion of just like, it's kind of freeing their souls. You know, their souls are trapped in the body unless we let them be free. It's just a beautiful sentiment, and I really, really loved that. I'm going to talk about Karl for just a little bit because the progression of Karl is just so crazy to me. Do you guys remember back in season 3 when he was like a little serial killer? I mean, not really, but you know what I mean. I mean, he was a little, ready to kill people. And he even gave, you know, in the season 3 finale, he gives Rick all of this fucking lip about, you didn't kill Andrew and he came back and killed Mom, which is like horrible. Like, why would you say that to Rick? But like, you know, and he killed that kid. He has gone through this crazy progression. And I love how, you know, we've lost a lot of kids, as I was just talking about. But I love how we have seen Karl's progression in the show. And, you know, he became hardened very quick. With everything with his mom, I think that scarred him. I think everything, you know, the whole thing with Shane, you know, it's kind of hard to think about somebody who's actually developing their mind, going through all of this stuff, how that's going to affect them just becoming, you know, a grown-up, or, you know, and as, you know, and he kept doing, he is a very hardened person. I don't think that's changed. I mean, when Negan wanted Rick to cut his arm off, you know, Karl was just like, do it, just do it. It's okay, Dad. Oh my God. I don't like, well, no, I mean, I'm okay with it, but you know, I don't like that he's kind of, I think, you know, okay, hold on. Let me get my thoughts together before I say this. I love that he seems to have come around when it comes to, helping people and caring for people. And I think he's a little disappointed in his dad, that his dad is all gung-ho about war. You know what I mean? However, I mean, you were there. You've seen what goes down. You've seen how many people have died. You know, I think war is, it's happening, and I don't, I guess my point was, I'm not entirely sure how I feel about him just being like, it seems like he's a little not so happy with his dad right now. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think that he's like okay with Rick, or, you know, I don't know. It's interesting. And I love that, you know, the callback to the 3 questions. So many callbacks in this episode with the A, and you know, just so many awesome callbacks in this episode. But I loved that especially the callback of him asking the 3 questions, which really went back to Farmer Rick days. One of my favorite scenes of the entire show is when Rick asks Clara, her name, that very slightly disturbed and sickly woman, and asking her those questions in that weird way. But it really went back to that kind of peaceful time where Rick was really trying to be peaceful. I liked that they did that because, you know, Karl's been kind of showing these signs of wanting, you know, peace. And I liked when, you know, they saw the walkers, and Karl kind of said, well, let's do this for your mom. Oh, my heart. And then I just have written here, going back to the whole freeing their souls thing and stuff like that, that, you know, I immediately just thought about Erin and Eric and him not being able to put Eric down, and that kind of was very sad, and I'm curious if that's actually going to happen later. Anyway, on the note of Erin, where in the world are Erin and Enid going? What? He was just like, I'm gonna go. And she's like, okay, I'll come too. And he's like, okay, it's gonna be a long trip. Okay, cool, bye. I don't know where they could possibly be going where he's like, I'm gonna make sure we win. What does that mean? Where is he gonna, is he gonna try to get reinforcements? I can't really think of many, like, other than maybe the women in the island that you all stole the guns from. I have no idea. Anyway, so let me know. Maybe he's gonna go to the sanctuary and try to do something. Maybe he's gonna, I have no idea, but I am excited. So let me know where you think Erin and Enid are going, and also let me know if you think that we're actually going to see them before the mid-season finale. It seemed like they were kind of like, and we might have an episode with just them, maybe in the second half of the season. I don't know. I'm just thinking, you know. All right. So now we're going to talk about the deal with the trash people. Let me know what you guys think, because I feel like I'm in the minority, but this is how I feel, because I talked to a couple people already and they think different. So that's what these chats are for, so to kind of get discussions going, and I hope that you guys can let me know what you think. So I like, you know, the whole him, I know he has to, he's trying to convince these people, and he says, you know, the saviors are finished, but I'm like, you're calling that way too early, boo, you know what I mean? But I know that he, I like that that's kind of what he was doing with the Polaroids. My opinion, the way that I read the scene, is that Rick absolutely meant to get captured. In my opinion, I just don't think that there's any way that he would go to these trash cuckoo Looney Tunes who have betrayed them in the past by himself and just be like, hey, want to switch sides? And without a plan that they're actually not going to say yes. You know, like, I think he knew, I'm not sure he was maybe counting on being stuffed into a random, you know, big locker thing where they took his clothes. I'm not sure that that was part of the plan, but it just seemed, and even when I rewatched it, when she said no to his, you know, switch sides or whatever, he kind of had this, like, it wasn't really a smirk, but he didn't seem worried. He was like, like, that was kind of like his facial expression for me. So I have a feeling that he meant to stay there. And I mean, he did say his people knew. I mean, the people knew, like, even Daryl said, you know, are you sure about this? When he left. So I feel like people know the plan. I mean, the whole thing at the beginning, the plan is working. I just don't think that it was part of their plan that the trash people were going to just all of a sudden switch sides. I don't think that they were counting on that at all. But let me know what you guys think. Like, I think that's, I don't know. It's just my opinion about that. And now we're going to go, and I'm going to try to talk as civil as possible about Michonne, Rosita, Daryl, and Tara. Okay, I loved Rosita with her RPG. Even though I think that was the only weapon she could get. That's kind of what I said in my reaction. I was like, oh, I don't know if you want to waste it on that, but that probably was the only thing she got her hands on, so whatever. I personally thought it was pretty important for somebody. I kept saying that in my reaction as well. Like, why is nobody in Alexandria? We first see Michonne and Rosita leave. Then Daryl and Tara catch up with them. Karl's in the middle of the woods. I'm like, what? Who's holding down the fort? Judith? Jeez. All right. Anyway, but sorry, I was just looking at my notes with that. Okay, so here's my thing. I have a lot of thoughts about this whole ending of the episode. I really would like to know what you guys think. Is it, you know, are you all for it? Are you not all for it? Here's the thing. I think that this plan, whatever this plan is probably you know, they probably didn't count on the kingdom, losing the kingdom. And some things have not, and the prisoners at the hilltop and stuff, some things have not gone entirely according to plan. But I do believe that there is a plan. And there's probably a plan for a reason. Okay. Here's my thing. I don't blame Tara or Daryl for wanting Dwight dead. But I think, I just think back to last season with that scene with Maggie and Daryl in their little bunker that they were in the hilltop. And Daryl was about to kill the savior. And Maggie said, you know, I want to hang them up and watch them die. Don't, you know, let's be clear. But we have to do this smart. We have to do this smart. We cannot just, you know, we cannot just go with our gut. We cannot be impulsive. Daryl, remember what happened last time you were impulsive? You remember? Just saying. But like, I love Daryl, by the way. But I'm just saying, like, I don't know what they're actually planning on doing. It was a little vague, and, you know, they're like, they just want to finish it. Maybe that's a good play, but I'm concerned about it, because the thing is that Dwight, I don't believe, he is putting himself on the line. I don't think he would just be like lying about, you know, and being a rat in this like lion's den just for like, you know, shits and giggles. Like, I just don't think that he's, you know. So I understand that maybe you might want to wait until this initial bit of war, or hopefully it's all of war or whatever, like, is done and dusted, and like Gabriel's in there. I mean, they don't necessarily know that Gabriel's in there, but they know that Gabriel hasn't returned, and oh my God. So I just don't know how I feel about it. I'm very nervous. I think that that's kind of my whole feeling with that. I just do not want anybody to fuck things up. Though, I mean, maybe things are already fucked up, you know? But, so let me know what you guys think about that. Are you all for, you know, like, go in, fuck them up, do what you gotta do, that there's 4 badass people in that car, go for it? Or do you think, you know, things should just kind of be more so according to the plan and all that stuff? Let me know what you think. All right. I think that that's about it. I will probably do another video at some point, kind of talking about the Fear the Walking Dead crossover reveal and all that stuff. I'm not going to be doing that this week, but maybe sometime soon. So look out for that as well. But yeah, I think that's about it and all I'm going to be saying. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.